The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 321. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a TV host, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Pinda Rika Dorji. Pinda, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, Sheena. I'm well. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
So I'm an eSports TV host here in Malaysia for eGGNetwork. The channel is called eGGNetwork. It's one of the first 24/7 esports channel here in Asia. I do TV stuffs. I host esports events, and I make funny videos. I have a YouTube channel. And I do all that stuff for my channel. That is. What else? I have a page where I upload stupid videos on games, online games, and people seem to like that, and that I enjoy the most. Apart from that, it's regular TV hosting every week. I'm doing shows I have one of my shows called 360. It's where I discuss new games, new available online games that are coming into the market every day. And that's about it, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Pindo, what's your cultural background?
I'm a Bhutanese. I'm from Bhutan. It's a small country in the Himalayas, sandwiched between India and China and Nepal and Bangladesh. I'm a Buddhist by religion, and I grew up in Bhutan, and I came to Malaysia to study, and that's how everything unfolded from that point on. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I didn't even know where Bhutan was, so thanks for sharing that that info. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote would be, "You never know until you try."
Thanks for sharing that. And, that's so true. A lot of people are afraid to try because they fear, failure. Yes. They feel like they're going to get laughed at. But,
exactly.
I'd rather be laughed at and be, fail than to never try at all, because you'll be going back thinking, well, what if I did succeed, or what if this happened, or what if that happened, right? You really will never know until you try. So it's a great quote that you mentioned. It's a great reminder that, nothing will ever happen unless we take action. So thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence for me would be not having to think twice or thrice about doing something that you feel you want to do, but you're afraid of being laughed at, like you mentioned. And for me, it's always been about how not to think about the future too much, and how it means about living in the present, just doing it and not rather overthinking about it, and not, like you said, you never know until you try. So it's always been about having a role model and looking up to him or her, and taking that as an example, and getting myself out there into the world, and just doing what I love, taking that risk, taking that opportunity without having to stutter, or without having to think about what ifs, and all that. So it's always been about putting myself out there, without having to have restrictions, without having to be perfect, and just believing in yourself, I guess.
Thanks for sharing those great definitions, and it's so true, especially, putting yourself out there. I know it's scary. It's really scary, but you'll never know unless you go out there and do it. And when you can just let go of what other people think of you, then, you're just free to be out there and be yourself, like what you're doing right now. So thanks for sharing that definition. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
It was like being in a nutshell, actually. I wouldn't do much. If I were to compare my self-confidence, it would be before I was a TV host. I used to work in a construction company. I studied civil engineering, so yeah. And it was normal for me. It was like a 9 to 5 p.m. job, 8 to 5 p.m. job, doing that every day, repeating the same thing every day. And it didn't feel like living life at the fullest or something. But I still then, when I was working as a construction manager in the work that I did, I used to make videos, like the videos that I upload on my pages on YouTube. I used to find time and make them, and then I used to think, like, what if, like, that was me? Like, what if I just went into something that I love doing, like joining esports? And esports for women is so hard because esports is a male-dominated community where male always have the upper hand, to be honest. And women getting into esports is really hard because, first of all, we're women and they never take women seriously. And there were a lot of obstacles, so I always thought, nah, that can't happen. That's gonna be impossible for me, and I barely have any experience in esports anyway. So I always thought I was like, forget it. I'll just stick to my 8 to 5 p.m. job. I'll do it. It's something I was brought up to do. It was something I was taught that you study. You want to become a doctor. You be an engineer. You want to become something that people notice you with. And that's it. You live your life doing something that others want you to do and not something that you want to do. So that was me before. And I don't know, one day it just hit me like a meteor or something. Like I just woke up and I was like, what am I doing in my life? I was 21 back then, so I was like 21, and I thought, what, I'm 21 and it's still early. It's still possible for me to make changes. It's still a good time to do something that I really wanted to do. And it was at that point I realized that I should do something that I wanted to do and not something that people wanted me to see as, or what they thought of me as. At that point, there was an audition for the TV host job, and that was recommended to me by my friend too, and I hadn't known about it. And it was like, okay, this is my window. This is my window to just jump out, do whatever I want. And I just went ahead, did the audition. I wasn't expecting to be chosen, or I wasn't expecting to actually get the job. That was me, and that was actually very negative for me. I shouldn't have thought that, but I didn't get my hopes high as well. So after that point, after they called me back, I got the job, and that moment, that one time, that changed everything that I dreamt of, that I inspired to be. All I had to do was explain to my parents why I would choose esports over something that they paid for, the education that they had paid for so long, for 4 years. Not even that. It was hard. I had to like prepare myself to explain to them why I would choose being a TV host rather than working as a civil engineer or a construction manager that I was actually meant to be, which was surprisingly not hard. I just called up my mom. She knows how much I love gaming, and I just called her after the job, after the confirmation, and just told her, Mom, I got the job. They called me back and they want to offer me a contract. And I was really scared that she'd ask me not to take it. But the next thing she said was, go for it. The only thing she said was, go for it. And I realized how important support from others, support from the people you love, how important that is to actually have an effect in what you do. As soon as she said that, I almost cried because I know how hard it's been for my parents just to pay for my education, sending me here to Malaysia to study and all that. And after all that, they're fine with me choosing a completely different line of work than what I studied for. And then after that, everything just fit into pieces as it was meant to be. So I talked to my dad, and he said the same thing. It's like you live one life. You don't want to a point where you be like, where did all my time go? Why didn't I do this? What, I should have done that. I don't want to live with I should have. What if only. These are the words of a person who wouldn't feel confident about what they do. So yeah, and after that, it was all natural. That was my point, like discovery, like you would put it. The change that happened, that took place, and that changed my life forever. And I became a completely new, different person. Not completely different person, but a better, a more self-confident person who believed in, like, I believed in myself even more than I believed in myself the day before or something like that. And I knew what I had to do. I had to quit my old job, which was very hard because I had actually grown into it, but I didn't love it. I something I enjoyed doing, but it was not something that I loved doing. So I got into TV hosting, and after that, my life changed. I got more time on my hands to do something I love. I play games every day, and it's amazing how I never thought I would be getting paid for playing games or making videos on games, stuff like that. Never in my life did I think that, never until now, until I got the job and I kind of pinched myself and realized, okay, this is happening. This is real. And from that point on, everything changed. And I guess it's because I took the risk. I'm a positive person. I don't like to be negative. I don't know why people would be negative. I mean, I get it. It's not easy to be positive all the time. It's definitely not easy. Sometimes you just want to break out. It has happened to me. You just want to scream. You just want to cry. You just want to let it all out. It has happened to me, and I just accept it. And it's good that it happens. Sometimes you want to break down. Sometimes you want to ask yourself, what are you doing with your life? That's a question I'm pretty sure everybody asks themselves, like, one point in their life. And I did have several moments like that, and I wasn't afraid to just let it out. I mean, women, they think too less of themselves. They do not believe in themselves because they think, as a whole, it's a men-dominated community, but it's how we think, it's how we let it be. I mean, how we let it think to ourselves. It's always been an issue, not just before, even now, even in the 21st century, where we have technologies that can take us way ahead. Even then, women are not suffering, but having issues, having problems to believe in themselves that they can actually make a change, that they can actually be as good as men, or even more so than men. So, like I mentioned, yeah, being positive all the time is not. It's not an easy job. It's really hard. But the thing is, you have to have a positive mental attitude. Even if you lose something, or even if you're negative about something, you just got to stop at one point and you have to think, what good does it actually do to you? How does it affect you? Being negative, being down about something that, or a mistake, a simple mistake, and you think too much of it, that pulls you really down, and then you kind of feel like you want to give up on everything, and you just want to be out, like, you just want to let it be how it is. And that's the worst part of developing your self-confidence. I mean, the question shouldn't be like, what if? It should be like, why not? It doesn't matter if it's wrong, if it's right. If you feel in your heart that you're meant to do it, you just do it, and whatever comes after, you deal with it, rather than just being like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done this. You deal with it, it's done, and you realize knowing what to do next, rather than letting in and just being like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. It's a mistake. It's done. I'm never going to do it again. Never shouldn't be your word. It should be, why not?
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, it's great that you get to do what you love. A lot of people feel like it's not possible, but here you are. You get to talk about games, you get to play games, you get paid for it, which is great because you just get to be your actual self versus trying to be somebody else. So congrats to that. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, definitely. I have a Facebook page. It's called Pinda Panda. That's that's the name given to me by fans. And that's where I upload all my videos on. People seem to like that. But Twitter, I don't use Twitter much, but it's the same as Pinda Panda. YouTube channel is also Pinda Panda, but I'm more active on Facebook. They can check out.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Pinda, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Pinda's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Pinda for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
Not a problem. It was an honor having you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.